Hey guys, welcome back to Sparkman Homestead. My name is Krista, and today I am going on a little bit of an adventure. I am going to try to get out to a garden center that is located about an hour west of us. In our small little town, we only have an option of Lowe's to kind of go and get like seed starting stuff. So like that's soil, garden amendments, anything like that. It's kind of at Lowe's because everything else is like, if I go into Bowling Green, that is about 30 minutes north of us. And then Nashville again is about 45 minutes south. So we're kind of just smack dab in the middle. So I am gonna go and check this place out. I heard about it when we went to that garden auction. I actually have a video of that garden auction and I can post it for you up here somewhere, wherever it goes. But I heard about this company when we were at this auction, and I heard that they had some very good prices. A lot of the local Amish around here get their things from this particular garden center. So I thought that I would drive out kind of just to see what they had to offer and what their prices were like. I am looking for some bulk compost. So I'm gonna go out to this place and see what they have available for compost, and then also I want to get some of my supplies that I need for my seed starting soil. I do make my own soil, so like my seed starting soil, so I want to see if I can get any of those things cheaper than I could at Lowe's, because right now it's looking to be around $38 for me to get my seed starting stuff. So I want to do some price comparisons. I'm also planning on making a pretty delish supper tonight. It is kind of like a chicken cordon bleu, but it is not made that way. It is made casserole style and it is delicious. So I need to go into the freezer and get the chicken breasts out for that so that they can get thawing while I am gone, because they are rock hard right now. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys is actually inside. I did a little experiment where I actually took some chicken broth and put it in my dehydrator. I wanted to see if I could get it to be like a powdered form, because I'm really trying to make a shelf-stable gravy mix, and I need to have bouillon, which again, if you've watched the other videos, I cannot find a good organic dry bouillon. Let me just grab the chicken out here first. This recipe actually calls for chicken breasts, and I only have, I think, maybe 5 more packages of chicken breasts. We raise all of our chickens ourselves. These are the size of the chicken breasts. This is just 2 chicken breasts. It is £1.5 pounds. One chicken is £1.5 pounds chicken breasts. These things are amazing. We get our new stock of meat chicks. They come at the end of March, and so we will grow them out. But until then, I only have 6 packages or 5 packages of chicken breasts to last us until we process, which is in May. So I'm trying to make them stretch. I do have a whole bunch of chicken legs, so I'm trying to find recipes where I can actually use those. Okay, I'm gonna show you this chicken stock and how it ended up coming out. This is after about 15 hours. This is what it looks like. This is in here, these 6 trays this size. I used 3 pints of chicken broth. And look at it, guys. It's like this paper thin. It's all dehydrated. It is still a little sticky. I'm gonna leave it rest in my dehydrator while we are gone to the garden center. It is an hour drive west and then obviously an hour drive back home. So it does take quite a bit to get there. So I want to eat some breakfast and have my tea before I head out. That way I don't feel the need to stop anywhere, because pantry challenge, we're not stopping anywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna get my granola ready, and then we are going to hit the road and head to the garden center. was somewhat of a successful trip. I am gonna have to look at their catalog, but this is all of their like potting mixes that they have outside. They sell them by the totes also. So it is really, really good place if you need to come and get your stuff in bulk. So as you can see in the clips, it is not really technically a store. I mean, they definitely have stuff on the shelves, but it is more of something where you order from their catalogs. So this is the name of the place. It is in Elkton, Kentucky. And so they do have 3 different catalogs. This is the one that has the fertilizer. They have a lot of irrigation stuff there. That is really good if you are running an irrigation line. So the way that it works, from what I picked up, at least being there, I was there for maybe about an hour. I kind of got the gist that you call ahead, you put your order in, and then you can come and pick it up. That seems to be what a majority of people were doing. I mean, there was a couple of people that knew what they were coming in there for because they probably had one of these and they just kind of put the order with them. And then you come around to the side and then you pick up your stuff. I ended up getting a couple 50-pound or a couple 25-pound bags of compost. I am hoping that I'm hoping it's a good mix. So I'm going to use it in the back when I put my tomatoes because it was $25 for a 40-pound bag, which is pretty expensive. It's a lot more expensive than what I can actually get at Lowe's. So I got 2 of those bags, and then I am going to be going to Lowe's to get the rest of my compost to amend my other beds with. So it's a pretty fun place. I'm gonna read these catalogs over and see if I can find anything else that I really liked, because it is an hour drive away, but it is beautiful outside today. It's a little chilly, but the sun is out, so I did not mind the drive. And I also went and picked up some milk from our local creamery because I'm not actually going out to the Amish next week. We are supposed to be getting some really bad weather next week. We're supposed to be getting some freezing rain, and it just happens to come in on the Wednesday, Thursday. And I don't want to have to commit to going out there and picking my milk up and then not being able to get out there because we have a lot of ice. So I told the Amish that I wasn't coming out next week, and I went and picked it up from the creamery today. So I have my milk for next week. I'm starving, like really starving. It is now 12:30. So I think what I'm gonna make is some buttermilk biscuits. I am kind of craving biscuits and with peanut butter and jam on it. So I'm gonna make some of that for lunch. So the first thing we need to do is actually get our buttermilk made. So I am gonna add the 3 tablespoons of the buttermilk powder in here. And I am just using this stuff that I purchased from Azure Standard. It is perfect to use for this particular instance. I have a cup of cold water here. So 3 tablespoons mix, 1 cup cold water, and then just whisk it together. This works really well if you want to do it in a blender. I just don't want to get my blender out and dirty it. We have our oven preheating at 450. To this mixing bowl, we're gonna add 2 cups of all-purpose flour. We need a tablespoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, mine's a little clumpy, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of salt. Sorry, not salt, that's 2 teaspoons of sugar. We have 6 tablespoons of very cold butter. I just took it out of the fridge. We are just going to use our pastry blender and we're just gonna get it mixed in. Okay, I'm gonna take my ring off. I have washed my hands already. So we are gonna add 3/4 cup of that buttermilk that we just made, and we need to get it incorporated. I find that using my hands is the best way to mix biscuit dough. It's the messiest, but I find that it's the best way to get it all incorporated. Oh, and when we put the butter in, we just cut the butter in so that it was a nice crummy consistency. There's no like really big clumps of butter in there. What I'm gonna do is put this on the counter now. I have already pre-washed my counter, and I'm just gonna dump this out and we're gonna kind of knee it into or form it into a ball, and then we're gonna roll it out. I'm trying to do this somewhat quickly because I do not want the butter to melt. I want to have the nice butter in it because it makes for a flaky biscuit. And we're just gonna roll it out. I'm gonna put a little bit of flour on my rolling pin though, because you can kind of see it sticking to it. And I don't want to roll it out too thin because I like nice big biscuits. And then I just have a biscuit cutter here, and then we will just cut them. And then I have a ungreased, this is one of those Pampered Chef stoneware cookie sheets. So we will just put them on there. I'm wondering if I'm the only person that likes raw biscuit dough. I don't know why I like it. I just think that it tastes good. Is that weird? Maybe it's weird. Trying to keep them relatively the same, like the same thickness. I'll probably get one more made. Perfect. So our oven is already preheated. What I like to do is take some of that buttermilk and then just brush it over top of the biscuits. Now, how long are we gonna cook these for? We are gonna cook these for 17 minutes. Now I'm gonna get this all cleaned up. Got the counter all cleaned up. We got all of those dishes clean. I want to show you guys what Steven's doing outside right now. The sunny weather literally is just like a recharge for both of us. The second that sun comes out, it's perfect. So he's outside working on a project. I want to show you what it is. This is what he was working on. He made me it's kind of like I don't know what you would call it, like a rinsing rack. This is like hard wire, like chicken wire, but it's like the small ones, and then that's just some 2x4s. But that is what I actually dry my onions on, and that is perfect also for putting like kale down on it and then rinsing it off, or any type of produce from the garden. Just putting it on 2 sawhorses and then I just rinse it off. So we had some extra hardwire cloth, and I asked him to make me another one because I found it extremely helpful when it came to onion season to have that to dry my onions on. So we're just trying to be like proactive and get some chores done before they absolutely need to get done. So that's really cool that he made me another one of those. I think the next one that he makes, it's going to be one, and I'd asked him to make me one that has a little bit bigger holes on it because I want to be able to like drop the onion down and have it like dry with the stems hanging down. Last year I actually used a dog crate to dry my onions. I just put the onion bulbs on the top and then just hung them from that, and that worked awesome, and I will use that again this year. But yeah, those things come in handy for pretty much any garden thing. The other thing that I think we're actually gonna do today, once we're done eating, I think we're gonna go to Lowe's today and pick up some peat moss. I use peat moss to start my seeds, and when I was at the garden center today, like that garden place I went to, I asked the guy if they had any peat moss, and he said that they did not because they were having an extremely hard time trying to get it in. I guess it is something that he said it is very hard to source this year. So their supplier has kind of dropped the ball on them a couple of times and not shipped it. They're hoping to get some out this week. But last I checked, my Lowe's actually had some in stock. So I am wanting to go and pick up a bag today so that I can get my seed starting mix all started, because next week I'm gonna start my kohlrabies and my celery and my rosemaries. I think the biscuits are done. I thought I set the timer, but I guess I didn't. I didn't hear anything ding. So let's take a look and see if they're ready. Look pretty good. Yep, they're done. We need to open this jam out. Got it from the pantry a couple days ago and I haven't opened it yet. So this is a raspberry jam that we canned up in March of last year. I had some raspberries that I had to get used up from Azure, so I just made some jam with them. Okay, let's see how it is. Let's test it out. Ooh, steamy. Put some butter on it. Butter is rock hard. And then some raspberry jam. You guys, this is like the best thing. A hot biscuit with melted butter and jam. Oh, so delicious. There's my lunch. So I guess this is what? We're on day 28 already, guys. It has flown by. So this is day 28's lunch. So after lunch, we headed over to Lowe's so that I could get my seed starting soil stuff because I want to get my seeds started very soon. And I found these beautiful flowers. I actually don't grow these, but looking at them, now I want to get some. And I found this really cool carrot tape. It was $5 though, so I wasn't going to get it, but it looked like a pretty neat concept for planting carrot. So because I use peat moss in my starter, I am going to get a bag of this stuff. Okay, so this is the Lowe's run so far. This is all for my seed starting. And then I'm gonna pick up this to put my tomato plants down in. No sunset, but it is 5 o'clock and it is still very much light out. Chickens are all in bed. It is very, very quiet out here. But this right here is why I love living out here. Just the quiet. Yeah, I am so happy that it is still light out. So we are gonna head inside and we are going to get supper started. I need to make a cream of chicken soup base, and the actual recipe itself takes about 50 minutes to cook. So Steven actually just had a snack, so it is what, 5:03. So we probably won't be eating until close to 7, but that's okay. It's Saturday night and he already had a snack. So I'm gonna get everything started now and then we'll be able to eat maybe before 8. I don't know. It's fine. We were really just kind of enjoying today. The sun was out and it definitely gave our batteries a recharge, and it's just so amazing. Like, and the fact that it's still like the light is still out at 5 o'clock, it just makes me so excited and so I just love spring. I really do. I just love the rebirth of everything coming back to life and the sun returning. It makes me very happy. So my happy meter is definitely filled up today, but I need to get supper started. So let's get that going. First thing we need to get started for this recipe is it calls for 1 can of cream of chicken condensed soup. So I'm trying to not buy it. I also don't have any right now. So we are going to make some up. This recipe is actually from Melissa K. Norris. I got this, I believe it was on her website or blog or somewhere. And it's just a homemade version of cream of chicken soup. So, and the condensed version. We have 3 tablespoons of butter right here. She does say here that for a dairy-free option, you can use lard or coconut oil in this instead of this. So 3 tablespoons of your fat of choice. And we are going to turn the stovetop on to a medium-low heat. So on mine, that's about a 3. And then we're just gonna wait till this melts. And then once it's melted, we are going to whisk in 3 to 4 tablespoons of flour. She also mentions here that you can use organic cornstarch or xanthan gum. She says that works great for a gluten-free thickener. So while I'm waiting for that to kind of melt, I just pulled out the chicken broth from the dehydrator. Like, I don't know if you can see, it's just like, it's like thin, I don't know how to describe it, it's transparent. Anyways, we're gonna put it into this and then we're gonna grind it up into a powder. I cannot believe how little, that much chicken broth it took to get this. That's crazy. So I can hear that boiling now. So this is a project that we're probably going to do while that is cooking down and thickening. That is all melted now. So I like a thicker soup. So we're gonna add the 4 tablespoons. And I'm just using an all-purpose flour. Whisk this in. And then we just wanna keep mixing it until, again, it gets that nutty, like, that nutty smell to it. We're just trying to cook the flour taste out of it, essentially. It's very, very thick paste. And I'm gonna get ready 1/2 cup of milk. This is just a whole milk. And then we also need 1/2 cup of chicken broth. I think that's pretty good. We will add, I just mixed the milk and the chicken broth together. So we're gonna slowly whisk this in. Says to whisk the liquids in and bring it to a simmer, barely boil. And then it says add more liquid if it becomes too thick. And then she says it will thicken up more as it cools. I'll bring you guys down and show you how thick it is. I don't know if you can see that consistency. I am thinking, because we want to mimic a cream of chicken soup, do I add more liquid? I think we'll leave it at this consistency. It's pretty good. Maybe we'll add just maybe a touch more milk, I think, maybe. We'll add a touch more chicken broth to really get that chicken flavor in there. That is good the way that is. I like that consistency. So we are just going to bring it to a barely boil. And then what we're gonna, it's like it's almost there right now. What we're gonna do then is we are gonna remove it from the heat and we are going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a dash of black pepper. I'm gonna turn the heat off and we'll add a little bit of black pepper. And we're gonna add a pretty generous amount of salt again because I do not salt my broth. I need to make up for it in here. And again, I've turned the heat off already with this. That's what it's looking like right now. Perfect. Yep, that's good. Right here we have a 1.5 pounds of cut up chicken breasts. The recipe that I am using, I got on Instagram, and I think I maybe got it like 10 years ago. Maybe not quite 10, but maybe 5-6 years ago. So again, I did not write down where it came from. I wish I could link it for you guys because this is an amazing recipe. If I have an opportunity, I will just maybe print it out and put it in the description for you guys because like I said, this is a winner of a recipe. So it says to spray a 12 by 18 baking dish with cooking spray. We have 11 by 7 because that I usually make it in this size. So I'm gonna get this oiled. We also have the oven preheating right now to 350. Just putting a little bit of avocado oil on the bottom just to get it good and coated. Then we are going to take this chicken and we are just going to layer the bottom with it. Just cover the bottom, not layer it, just cover the bottom. And I cut them into probably like maybe 1 to 2 inch cubes, just bite-sized pieces. We'll get it the bottom completely covered with this. And now I'm going to wash my hands. I am just going to salt and pepper this a little bit. Just put a little light salt and pepper seasoning over top of the chicken. The recipe does not call to do this. I just like to do it for extra flavor. And now what we're gonna take is, it says 1/2 pound of chopped ham. What we did is we had some leftover ham and we just cut it up and I put it in the freezer. So we are just gonna sprinkle this on top of the chicken. I don't know if that was 1/2 pound, but it covers it perfect. So I'm gonna wash my hands again. When I first started making this recipe, I actually used deli ham, and that worked absolutely amazing. I just took a couple slices of deli ham, just chopped it up, and then put it on top. Now we are going to take some Swiss cheese, and we are just going to layer the Swiss cheese on top so that it covers this. This used to be one of our like go-to recipes, and I have not made this in a very, very long time. It is super delicious. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take our cream of chicken soup that we just made, or if you're using a canned soup, just dump the can in. We're gonna mix it with a 1/4 cup of milk, and I'm just using, again, a whole milk. Okay, and then we're just gonna pour this over top, just so that it covers it. This is our stovetop mix. Now it says to put just the dry mix. Do not make this in a pot. Like, just leave it dry. And we are just going to sprinkle it over top of this mixture. I kind of wish I would have cut these a little smaller. I'll see if I can find the recipe for this, and then I will link it for you guys, because this is a really good alternative to stovetop. It doesn't have all the yucky ingredients. Pretty much just dry bread, which is croutons, and a whole bunch of seasoning. I'm not putting the whole bag on because this is a smaller casserole dish, but I am trying to get all that seasoning. And then we have 1 stick of butter, so 1/2 cup of butter, and we're just gonna pour this over top. And again, you can, if you don't want to use butter, you can maybe use a different type of fat on this. The butter is going to help cook that stovetop, essentially. This is not the healthiest meal, but it is a delicious meal. Now we're going to take some tin foil. We're going to tightly seal that, and then we're going to put it in the oven for 50 minutes. Okay, now it's time for experiment. Well, that is the cooking. Let's try to get this up off here. And we're just gonna put it in, this is like a coffee grinder. I use it for spice though. These little trays are perfect. I got these off of Amazon, and they're actually for, maybe I got these at Cabela's. They're made for making fruit leather, but it works perfect for doing things like a sauce. This would be amazing to have a freeze dryer to be able to make this stuff, but we are making do, and we are just gonna try to dehydrate it and see if that works. Let's try it. Like, that is really cool. That's perfect. But I am wondering, my concern right now is that it doesn't really feel super sticky. It feels pretty dry. My concern is that if it is still sticky, it's not completely dehydrated, but that actually feels pretty dry. This jar is definitely overkill, but we'll put it in here. Okay, now we just have 5 more trays to do. Okay, so I figured out a way to get that stuff off. Use a spatula. It was so easy. Once I used it, I just scraped it right off. Guys, this is how little it made. You can see that? Hardly anything. This is 3 pint-sized jars of chicken stock. I mean, it's beautiful and it's nice and crumbly, but 3 jars. So I don't know. I'm glad I did it as an experiment, but I think what I'm gonna do is just, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe make the gravy with broth when I need to make it and not have a shelf-stable one. I'm not sure, because that used a lot of energy to dehydrate that. It took over 12 hours to do, and then it was a sticky mess. Like, you have to have insanely dry hands in order to do that, because you have an ounce of moisture on your fingers, it will automatically stick to your fingers because it rehydrates right away. So it was a lot of work. But at least I have this. I could probably maybe make like one gravy mix with this. It's very concentrated though. So I don't know. It is nice having shelf-stable broth option though. That's 100% organic. This was broth made from our chickens, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, I have supper in the oven, and how much more time do we have? That still has 30 minutes left. So I am going to go and sit down and wait for that to cook, and then we will come back and enjoy it. I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. Have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you on the next video. Bye guys. Oh, and I'll come back and I'll show you everything once it comes out of the oven and I have it all plated up. There it is, right out of the oven, but because it is almost 7, we got into it right away. And then I made a can of corn. So there is my plate. Super delicious. I think my favorite word is super delicious. I say it a lot. Anyways, there is our meal tonight. Thanks again for watching, guys.